Hello and welcome to another episode of Kill James Bond, a podcast with 2 drops from this movie.
That's right, baby. Second Double Dragon, 2 hosts, 2 drops. Let's go.
That's right. I got to pick one, and Dev got to pick one, and you got to pick a little movie that I like to call Aces Go Places 3, Our Man from Bond Street, Mad Mission 3.
That's right.
A movie with a baffling amount of titles and a baffling amount of things going on.
It starts very slowly, and then it just keeps gaining speed until the end, where you're like, please stop, please.
It continues so much. Now, I for a little bit of context here, right? I gave you the opportunity to like. That makes it sound very munificent of me, you know.
Thank you, beautiful host of mine.
I deemed to like offer you the privilege to like suggest a movie that we could talk about, and what you came back with was a link to a website called kissasian.com.
Listen,
no context.
Actually, that's not quite the case. I believe I had some additional context.
You just gave me this link.
I've got a movie, and that link.
Yeah, just that link, which seemed like it was like a phishing thing. But I clicked on it, and when I clicked on it, it took me to a magical web browser where every time I did anything, it opened 3 or 4 tabs in my browser.
And that's not the movie's fault. I mean, it's not Mad Mission 3 Aces Go Places, Our Man from Bond Street's fault that no one decided to put it on a decent streaming service.
It's not Mad Mission 3 Our Man from Bond Street Aces Go Places' fault that now my default browser has changed and I have a new screensaver. And you know, all of my bank accounts are empty.
Frankly, not enough people are using screensavers these days.
That's true.
The screen just goes black these days. Bring back the pipes.
Bring back the pipes. Oh, the pipes.
Bring back the pipes.
So this immediately sent me into a spiral, this movie, because after clicking on it and clicking away the like 3 or 4 tabs that had opened, telling me that like hot milfs in my area wanted to date me, you know, I get thousands of these messages a day. I can't be bothered to like answer all of them. I was assaulted by a sort of minor key non-copyright infringement version of God Save the Queen.
It's not good.
That's the opening title, right? We do and God Save the Queen isn't copyrighted.
You're allowed to use God Save the Queen.
But no, they slightly change 1 or 2 notes here and there. And we open then in Paris. In Paris,
France.
that city famously associated with the British national anthem. And at this point, I wrote down, because I tried to pause it to process.
Immediate problem.
And what I did was this opened another 4 tabs of local MILFs in my area and penis extension pills and things of that nature.
Right.
It's like, no, I'm trying to get pills to do the opposite of that. But what I wrote down in my notes here is simply, I posted this on the Twitter account in my nice cursive. Devon, why are you doing this to me? I was like a sister to you.
The movie loves to do things, and one of the main things it loves to do is open additional tabs in your browser.
Just as a piece of like film theory, it's a great like authorial technique to open a shitload of tabs.
It's like a multimedia experience, right? Because it makes you close the tabs as a statement.
That's
or
right.
Something.
Absolutely. So we begin in Paris, where
we do.
Sam Hoy, who is more famous as a musician, I discover, but was also in these movies. He plays King Kong, who is an international jewel thief. And this is like the 3rd in the series. It's been quite like a sort of like wildly successful franchise in Hong Kong.
Oh, hugely! Yeah.
It's like the most successful domestically produced like Hong Kong film franchise. And so you're just expected to know who this guy is. The movie doesn't
and
tell
yet
you.
you can't fucking find this movie anywhere. This shit was in 480p.
Absolutely, absolutely. And no one tells you who this guy is. He's just a guy, wearing a full white denim outfit.
Who did right fit.
Yeah. Who is, I guess, he's scoping out some cisgender women. Like,
it's not even made clear what he's doing because he's just sort of has a telescope
of women,
and he's looking at asses with it.
Yeah,
but little does he realize there is another person there who has got another telescope and is looking at his ass.
Yes, and she is an attractive woman wearing like a weird futuristic pair of red sunglasses and like a lot of leather. And she like scopes him out too, and she zooms in on his ass, and that gets a little like crosshair target acquired thing, which may be the episode art because I did save that. So while they're like ass targeting each other,
yes,
she tries to kill him, she misses, and this leads to a chase scene up the Eiffel Tower where he enters a lift and discovers dubbed Richard Kiel.
None other than just straight up Jaws.
Straight up Jaws, dubbed, like that was him laughing in the beginning. This? That's Richard Kiel. Notably not what the guy sounds like, but alright.
No. Yeah.
He also doesn't have the Jaws teeth. He's just a big guy.
He's just a big guy. He even speaks later on, and it's like, okay.
He's credited as Big
Jaws.
G, which is like
hell yeah. There's a bunch
of
names in the credits that are never said on, like in the movie, and they're all great.
Yeah, because Jaws shows up and Oddjob shows up a bit later. Yes. And when Oddjob shows up, for a second I thought it was actually Harold Sakata before realizing that was stupid, because Harold Sakata would be like 90 years old by the time this movie came out.
To be fair, they did manage to get a guy who looks a shitload like him. It's Sunharu Sugiyama, who is a Japanese wrestler.
8 months to look like Harold Sakata.
He was in the fucking 1964 Olympics. Like, this is genuinely just another Japanese wrestler they got.
Yeah, and so not Oddjob rides up to him on a boat, throws the hat at him, which misses. He like catches it in his briefcase. And the moment this movie won me over was when not Oddjob pulls out a second hat and just rides away laughing.
It's genuine. I love this fucking movie. Like, I genuinely really like this movie, even though it's not really very good. And the comedy is all for a culture that I'm firmly not a part of, so I don't really understand a lot of the beats.
Oh, this whole first 10 minutes of the movie, unwatchable. It's literally it's just a succession of like, hey, you remember this from James Bond? It's like...
This is not the most unwatchable movie intro I will bring to you, unfortunately.
I'm sure it isn't, but like for the moment, this is a lot like I think a lot about the play Mr. Burns, a post-electric play where like after the apocalypse, a bunch of survivors try and like make a living as traveling bards, recounting episodes of The Simpsons they half remember. The opening 10 minutes of this movie, it's a really good play.
That sounds great.
The opening 10 minutes of this movie are like trying to like reconstruct a Bond movie from our podcast. Or actually no, it's worse than that. It's like trying to reconstruct a Bond movie from our posts.
Yeah, like if you listen to the podcast, you could probably get a pretty solid idea of what of the Bond movie is like.
Yeah. Whereas if you just got it from
things of that nature.
Yeah, exactly. If you just got it from our post, you'd be like, the Wiggler, an essential part of any James Bond movie. It's the part that we all know and love. You put him in the Wiggler in the start, so everybody knows that it's James Bond.
Yeah, that's the best way to establish continuity of character. Every time you use a new actor, is put him in the Wiggler. And everyone's like,
never happened to the other fella.
That's James Bond. I get it.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is the end of the free segment of this episode. If you would like to hear more of this episode, including several bits that are funny, you can head on down to patreon.com/killjamesbond and sign up today. Abby's coming back. She's coming back. Please. Abby's going to be back soon.